Have you ever had that dream of starting your own business, being your own boss, calling the shots, only to find yourself working harder than ever for a boss you literally can't escape, yourself? Well, today we're diving into The E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. And let me tell you, this is more than just a book. It's basically a survival guide for anyone who feels like their business owns them, instead of the other way around. We're going to uncover the one fatal mistake that traps most entrepreneurs, and more importantly, find the blueprint for building a business that actually gives you your life back.
So the book kicks off with this really powerful idea that busy, working all the time, isn't actually a sign of success, it's a form of distraction. Gerber argues that for most small business owners, busyness is like a trap. It's this intoxicating feeling that lets you avoid the tough reality that the business you created for freedom has actually become your own personal cage.
All right, here's the game plan for how we're going to break down Gerber's ideas. First, we'll bust the big entrepreneurial myth. Then, we'll introduce you to the 3 different bosses fighting for control inside your head. After that, we'll walk the all-too-common path to burnout. And then, this is the good part, we'll get to the solution, how to build a business that actually works and what he calls your own turnkey revolution.
Okay, let's start with number 1, the entrepreneurial myth. This is the single biggest misunderstanding that turns that passionate dream of yours into a total nightmare. And it all comes down to one fatal assumption that pretty much everyone makes when they start a business.
And here it is. This is the big one. The single idea that dooms most small businesses right from the get-go. It's the belief that just because you're amazing at the technical work, say you're a brilliant coder or a fantastic graphic designer or a great baker, that you automatically know how to run a business that does that thing. See the difference? Being a great baker is not the same as knowing how to run a great bakery. And confusing those two things, well, that's the root of almost every single failure.
To really get this, Gerber tells us the story of a woman named Sarah. Now, Sarah absolutely loves baking pies. The craft, the process, the smell, it's her whole world. In business terms, Sarah is what we call the technician. She's a total expert at the hands-on work.
Then one day, Sarah gets hit by what Gerber calls an entrepreneurial seizure. It's that moment where she thinks, wait a minute, why am I making pies for someone else? I know way more than my boss, I should start my own pie shop. And just like that, fueled by that fatal assumption, she opens up all about pies, thinking that her passion for the craft is all she's going to need to succeed.
Fast forward 3 years, and the dream is totally gone. Sarah is now working from 3 in the morning until 10 at night. She's not just baking anymore, oh no. She's managing inventory, paying bills, mopping the floors, dealing with angry customers, you name it. The work she once loved has just become this relentless, soul-crushing chore. The business she started to be free has become her prison. And the saddest part? She hates baking pies now.
So, what happened? How did Sarah's passion turn into a prison? Well, Gerber says it's because every single business owner is actually 3 different people, all fighting for control. It's time to meet your 3 inner bosses.
So first up, you've got the entrepreneur. This is the visionary part of you, the dreamer who's always looking to the future and seeing opportunities everywhere. Then there's the manager. This is the pragmatic side, the part that craves order, systems, and predictability. The manager lives in the past, trying to organize everything that's already happened. And finally, you have the technician, the doer. The technician lives in the present and just wants to do the work. The technician's motto, if you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. As we're going through these, just think, which one sounds the most like you?
And here is the core of the problem. In a healthy, balanced business, these 3 personalities would work together. But for the typical small business owner, that inner split is, well, it's dangerously out of whack. Just look at this. The technician makes up a staggering 70% of the personality. The business was basically created by the technician for the technician to get away from a boss. But the tragedy is, the technician becomes the boss. And they are the absolute worst boss of all.
You know, Gerber uses this brilliant analogy to explain this whole internal conflict. He calls it the fat guy versus the skinny guy. So, on Saturday morning, the skinny guy wakes up, throws out all the junk food, and swears he's going to start training for a marathon. But then, on a cold, rainy Thursday morning, guess who's back in control? The fat guy, and all he wants is a donut. It's the exact same war happening inside a business owner. The entrepreneur has this grand vision, the manager tries to put a plan together, but the technician just wants to get back to the comfortable, familiar work of baking pies, and ends up sabotaging the whole thing.
So with this huge imbalance, with the technician running the show, the business doesn't grow in a healthy way at all.
Instead, it follows this predictable, really painful, and honestly, often fatal life cycle.
This technician-driven approach leads to a predictable life cycle. Every business starts in infancy. This is where you and the business are the same thing. If you're not working, nothing's happening. If you manage to survive that, you hit adolescence, and this is the most dangerous phase. It's when you finally hire your first employee. But because you're a technician at heart, you don't really manage them, you abdicate. You just throw tasks over the wall and hope for the best, which of course creates total chaos. The goal is to reach maturity, where the business runs itself. But most businesses, they get stuck in adolescence and just die there.
And when that chaos of adolescence just gets to be too much, the technician has 3 escape routes, and they're all pretty tragic. 1, you get small again. You fire everybody to get control back, but now you don't own a business, you just own a miserable job. 2, you go for broke, where the business grows so fast and so chaotically that it just implodes. Or 3, and this might be the saddest one, adolescent survival. This is where you just hang on, a slave to your own business, fighting the same fires day in and day out until you completely burn out.
Okay, so that was the problem. I know. It sounds pretty bleak, but this is exactly where the book makes a huge pivot to the solution. Gerber introduces this really powerful shift in thinking he calls the turnkey revolution. It's a whole new way to think about building a business that can actually set you free.
And to prove this is possible, just look at the world of franchises. It's pretty staggering. While over 80% of independent businesses fail within the first 5 years, business format franchises have a success rate of over 75%. So why? Is it because they have better food or better products? Nope. It's because they have better systems.
And this brings us to the biggest aha moment in the entire book. Think about Ray Kroc, the guy who founded McDonald's. He didn't really get into the hamburger business. He got into the business of selling the McDonald's business. The real product he was creating wasn't the hamburger itself. It was the entire perfectly repeatable, predictable system for delivering that hamburger.
This leads us to the single most important mindset shift you can possibly make. Ray Kroc wasn't in the back flipping burgers. He was perfecting the burger flipping system. He stepped out of that technician role and became the entrepreneur, designing a business that could run perfectly fine without him even being there. This is the fundamental change you have to make. You have to stop working in your business and start working on it.
Okay, so if the goal is this turnkey revolution, what's the tool? I mean, how do you actually start working on your business instead of in it? Gerber's answer is this powerful mental model he calls the franchise prototype.
And this is the practical tool you can use right now. From this day forward, you have to pretend that you're going to franchise your business. Every single decision you make, every process you create, it has to be designed so that it could be perfectly replicated 5,000 times over. This forces you, it absolutely forces you to stop relying on your own heroic last-minute efforts and start building systems that deliver consistent results no matter what.
Now, this prototype is governed by a clear set of rules. You create predictable value, you document everything in operations manuals, you maintain impeccable order. But the most radical rule, the one that really makes people uncomfortable, is number 2. Design your business to be run by people with the lowest possible level of skill. Now, I know that sounds harsh, but it's not about devaluing people. Not at all. It's about making your system the star of the show. The goal is to build a system so brilliant that it allows ordinary people to produce extraordinary results every single time. You're building a business that depends on its systems, not on specific, irreplaceable people.
And that really brings us to the one question that the E-Myth Revisited leaves you with. It's the question that can literally mean the difference between freedom and a prison of your own making. So stop asking yourself how you can work harder in your business. Start asking a new question. How can I build a business that works without me? If this breakdown sparked a new way of thinking for you, I seriously recommend diving into the full book, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. We dropped a link for you down in the description. If you'd rather listen, you can try it on Audible with a free trial, and that link is down there too. And hey, if you got some value from this summary, please do us a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe to Summed Up Books for more explainers just like this one. Click, learn, repeat.